Maayong adlaw kabayan, medyo long video po ito. So kung may time po kayo, I would appreciate if you could watch the video from start to finish. This is about the US military, about disinformation, about COVID-19, Sinovac, and how the Philippines ended up with a lot of deaths sa kasagsagan ng COVID-19 pandemic. So kung may time po kayo, grab your snacks, sit down, and let's get into it. 2 days ago, nung June 14, naglabas ng isang report ang Reuters, isang reputable news agency, about sa isang espesyal na investigasyon na kanilang ginawa ukol sa isang secret mission or secret campaign na pinamunuan ng US military. Ang focus ng military campaign na ito ay ang pagkalat ng disinformation ukol sa bisa ng Sinovac upang sirain o i-discredit ang impluensya ng China sa Pilipinas or sa Southeast Asian region. Feeling kasi ng US at that time, lumalakas ang impluensya ng China sa Pilipinas at sa ibang Southeast Asian countries dahil nag-donate ito ng 250,000 vaccine shots sa Pilipinas at later mura ang pagbenta nito ng Sinovac sa ibang bansa at sa Pilipinas. Sabi nga ng isa pang article ng South China Post noong 2021, ang presyo ng Sinovac for the Philippines ay pwedeng tawaging BFF prices. So that right there is a very short summary ng issue na inimbestigahan ng Reuters, but there's so much more into it. So let's dive into a short timeline first. Noong 2019, pinahintulutan ni President Trump ang Central Intelligence Agency or CIA na maglunsad ng isang lihim na kampanya sa social media against China. Ang purpose ng kampanyang ito ay ibaling ang opinyong publiko sa China against it. Bahagi ng kampanyang ito ay isang maliit na grupo ng mga online operatives na bumuo ng mga fake accounts sa social media para magkalat ng mga fake stories or bad PR tungkol sa gobyerno ni Xi Jinping. Ito bali ang origin ng main story natin, pero alam naman natin na for decades merong struggle for influence sa Pilipinas and sa Southeast Asia between China and the US. So that would be the greater, even bigger background story sa video natin na ito. So moving on. By 2020, nagsimulang kumalat ang COVID-19. Para sa US government, oportunidad ang COVID-19 pandemic para ipatuloy ang pagsira nila sa impluensya ng China sa Southeast Asian region at sa buong mundo. Ginamit ng US ang pandemya para ipagpatuloy ang sikretong kampanya na sinimulan nila noong 2019. Pero noong March 2020, biglang sinabi ng China na ang pinagmulan daw ng COVID-19, ng coronavirus, ay isang Amerikano nagtatrabaho para sa gobyerno na at some point napadpad sa Wuhan noong late 2019. Dinagdag pa ng China na baka raw ang coronavirus ay nagsimula sa isang Army Research Facility sa Fort Detrick, Maryland sa US. Walang ebidensya ang China para patunayan ito, pero syempre ikinagagalit ng US ang statement na ito. Ang China naman nagbuo din ng isang network of fake social media accounts para ikalat ang conspiracy na nabanggit ko. After this, hindi na rin nagpaawat ang Amerika. Narinig nating tawaging China virus ni Trump in many of his statements ang coronavirus. Ito ang simula na pag-rest back ng US in the disinformation and influence war against China. Pero di rin nagpatalo ang China dahil sa kalagitnaan ng 2020, sabi ng China magsisimula daw sila ng isang COVID assistance program. Ibig sabihin magpapadala sila sa ibang countries ng mga masks, ng mga ventilators at of course vaccine, which at that point tinetest pa lang, hindi pa nirelease sa public. Ang China, klaro naman na gusto nila gamitin ang kanilang COVID assistance program para geopolitically lumakas ulit ang impluensya nila sa Asia, sa Southeast Asia, sa Pilipinas. Sabi pa ng China, once okay na daw yung Sinovac, ituturing nila na global public goods. Sisiguraduhin daw nila na ang bakunang Sinovac ay magagamit ng lahat ng developing countries even outside of Asia. So, A little fast forwarding to 2021, ang Sinovac ay naging available by 2021 habang ang mga US pharmaceutical companies na nagde-develop din ng iba pang mga bakuna ay di pa ready at this point. Pero that was not the only problem. Sabi kasi ng US government, dapat bakunahan muna nila ang taga-US. Sabi nila sa US pharmaceutical companies. Dapat i-prioritize nila ang US healthcare facilities, their own citizens, which is fine. It's understandable. Matapos na nabigyan ng US ang kanilang own citizens ng mga bakuna, okay na mag-export ang US pharmaceutical companies ng mga produkto nila sa ibang bansa. Nung ready na mag-export ang mga US pharmaceutical companies to other countries, there was another problem. Ang mga bakuna na pagmamay-ari ng mostly US pharmaceutical companies ay binigyan bali ng go signal or green light ng US government na pwede daw nilang ibenta ang kanilang surplus products sa ibang bansa at whatever price. Bahala na kung gaano kamahal. So by the time na available na ang ibang brands na bakuna like Pfizer or Moderna sa ibang bansa, ito ngayon ang senaryo na biglang nakita natin. Firstly, di ganun kadaming vaccine shots ang na-export or naging available from those US pharmaceutical companies for other countries outside of the US dahil nga ang prioridad ng US government and ang demand nila from those US pharmaceutical companies ay unahin muna ang US citizens. So by the time na open na sa global market yung US pharmaceutical products like Pfizer or Moderna, wala masyadong may offer yung US pharmaceutical companies na yon, right? So, mas marami pa rin Sinovac na naibenta ang China dahil mas may availability sila. Pangalawa, dahil nga sabi ng US government, you can sell your products at whatever price, minahala ng US pharmaceutical companies ang kanilang mga produkto. So, yung mga mas pobreng mga countries like from Asia or Africa said, bakit kami bibili ng Pfizer or Moderna na more money, less products ang resulta kung meron namang Sinovac for less money, more products. And we need to vaccinate a lot of people. So, marami sa mga bansang ito, ang laki ng mga population nila. If they can purchase more products for less money, yun ang ideal na situation because we were fighting against time. Ang dami nating gustong bakunahan in order to lessen the impact of the coronavirus on the individual's body. So, yun ang nangyari. At some point, mas popular ang Sinovac. Mas binili ng mga developing countries ang Sinovac. And at some point, nakita din ng Amerika ang mali sa approach nila. Kasi by prioritizing their own citizens and allowing their pharmaceutical companies na mahalan ang produkto nila, in a way, pinahintulutan nila ang China na ituloy ang Global COVID Assistance Program nila successfully. Inirisk ng Amerika na mag-shift uli ang perception ng mga tao about China. Natakot ulit ang US na mawalan ng impluensya sa Asia, lalong-lalo na sa Pilipinas, who at that point was experiencing so many COVID deaths. Idagdag pa dito ang tense na relationship between the Duterte government and the US. Talagang natakot ang US na tuluyang mawalan ng kaalyansa sa Southeast Asia, mawala yung alyansa nila, yung partnership nila with the Philippines. Especially dahil nag-promise pa naman ng China na ang Pilipinas ay one of the first countries na makatanggap ng Sinovac. So, ano ang response ng US to all of this? Well, it's disinformation. So, as I said in my summary sa introduction, dito na nagsimula na bumuo ang US military ng isang grupo ng online operatives na ang only goal nila ay sirain ang reputasyon ng Sinovac sa Pilipinas dahil takutin sila na gamitin ng China ang kanilang COVID assistance program para impluwensyahan din ang ibang Southeast Asian countries like Malaysia or Cambodia. Hindi lang to haka-haka ha, dahil ang Reuters, they got confirmation about a US Special Operations Command Pacific General named Jonathan Braga na siya daw nag-pressure sa mga boss niya sa Washington na kalabanin ang China through social media and in the information space. Tapos, nakuha din ng Reuters ang confirmation from at least 6 senior US State Department officials na hindi pabor sa sekretong misyon na ito within social media. So, after this disinformation campaign was launched, marami na tayong nakita sa social media na post demonizing Sinovac. Kesyo di daw ito effective, kesyo may pork gelatin daw ito. This was a special aspect of that disinformation para takutin ang mga Muslim sa Pilipinas, sa Asia, sa African countries, sa Middle Eastern countries, and to force their governments, the governments of those countries, to think twice about accepting Sinovac from China. Now, we can debate all day long about vaccines and Sinovac, but experts have admitted a long time ago na although mas mahina ang effectivity ng Sinovac compared sa ibang bakuna, Sinovac was ultimately deemed as safe and most definitely did not have pork gelatin. Walang peligro sa paggamit ng Sinovac ayon sa World Health Organization. Pero it was too late. The damage was already done. Ang daming Pilipino who are constantly on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram believed that disinformation campaign headed by the US. By the way, kahit na nag-start itong disinformation campaign na ito under the Trump administration, nagpatuloy siya under the Biden administration, so he knew that this was also going on. Anyway, dahil ang disinformation campaign ng US ay naging matagumpay, sino ngayon ang nagsuffer at the end of it all? Well, you know the answer, ang mga Pilipino. Dahil sa disinformation campaign na ito ang mga biggest consequence na observe ng Reuters, and I tried to sort of dilute it to like 3-4 points. Unang-una, obviously, wala masyadong nagpabakuna. All in all, right now, there are around 120 million Filipinos in the Philippines. Nung nagka-Sinovac ang Pilipinas, may around 114 million Filipinos within the Philippines. Noong June 2021, 2.1 million Filipinos ang nagpabakuna, less than 2%. Ang goal ng gobyerno dati by June 2021 was na 70 million people ang magpabakuna. Pero obviously, hindi nangyari to. Laganap na ang disinformation lalo na sa Facebook where Filipinos were getting so much of their news and other information ukol sa COVID-19. By June 2021 din, around 1.3 million people 1.3 million ang COVID cases sa Pilipinas and around 24,000 na ang namatay. By November 2021, not even like 6 months later, 49,000 people na ang namatay through the COVID-19 pandemic. And experts who were quoted, who were interviewed para sa Reuters article said this could have been prevented. These were unnecessary deaths. The second consequence na na-observe ng Reuters, nawala ang tiwala ng mga Pilipino sa government health facilities or initiatives. By the time na bumili na rin ang Pilipinas ng bakuna from Pfizer or Moderna, hindi na rin gustong magpabakuna ang mga Pilipino with those other brands. So it was not even about Sinovac anymore specifically. Sobrang na-demonize na ang vaccines in general at maraming Pilipino ang naging anti-vaxxers. Pangatlo, dahil naging skeptical ang mga Pilipino about sa COVID vaccines, naging skeptical na rin sila sa lahat ng klaseng na mga vaccines for other illnesses. So may mga kababayan tayo na hindi na rin gusto magpabakuna for other things like polio, hepatitis, tetanus, at iba pa. Kung patuloy tayong maging skeptical about other vaccines, pwedeng magkaroon tayo ng iba pang mga pandemya or at least pagkalat ng mga ibang mga sakit na pwede namang iwasan kung magpabakuna lang. And the fourth consequence, personally, naobserbahan ko lang as Filipino, mas lumakas pa ang xenophobia sa Pilipinas. And from this point, I want to jump off from that last point. Aware naman ako na we have a territorial dispute with China's government and the politicians in our country these days. are using xenophobia as a way to gain a lot of clout. That is another discussion one can have on any other day because we can go on and on and on about it. But my point is, Sinovac could have saved lives. Other vaccines could have saved lives as well. I'm a beneficiary of Moderna. And I've had COVID 2 times. And I don't want to imagine kung ano nangyari sa akin if I had not been vaccinated. Because the cases na naobserbahan ko back in the UK when I got sick were harrowing. May pinsan ako na nurse sa UK and he was assigned sa COVID ward. And the stories he could tell you before the vaccine was developed are horrible. So just wanted to say, Sinovac and other vaccines could have saved lives. But by the time na available na ang mga vaccines, the disinformation campaign was so successful and deeply embedded in the Filipino psyche. Wala nang tiwala mga tao. Marami ang namatay. Marami na ngayon ang may long COVID. Now, regardless of how you feel about vaccines, whether pro-vaxxer ka or anti-vaxxer ka, one thing we could hopefully agree on is that walang karapatan ang US na gamitin ang Pilipinas na parang political instrument or political pawn para lang manalo sa isang influencer competition with China at the cost of Filipino lives. This now leads me to question, ito ba ang behavior ng isang kaalyansa, isang alay, isang kaibigan ng Pilipinas? Ang hilig nating depensahin ang Amerika at hindi questionin ang alyansa natin with them. Hindi natin pinaglaban si Jen Laude. Hindi natin kinwestiyon the very many assault and rape cases in the cities near or towns near the US military base. Let's not even talk about the illegitimate children na iniwan lang ng mga GIs, di ba? Hindi natin kinwestiyon ang presensya nila sa US military base in general. Hindi natin tinutulan ang VFA. Hindi natin nakikita na ang alyansang ito ay very one-sided. In this newest disinformation campaign, hindi man lang kinonsider ng US ang buhay ng mga Pilipino. Parang walang halaga ang buhay natin. Filipino public health was risked for geopolitical gains. Sabi nga ng isang senior military officer na kinausap ng Reuters for the article that I am basing this whole video on, quote, "We weren't looking at this from a public health perspective. We were looking at how we could drag China through the mud." End of quote. An imperialist country like the US will never care for anyone else but for the power of the ruling class on top of it. Everyone else is fair game. Bahala na sila sa buhay nila. Every time na sinasabi ko for the last 8 to 9 months, now we as Filipinos have more in common with the Palestinians, with the Congolese, with the Sudanese, and other people from other conflict regions that are suffering from, amongst many other things, the reach, involvement, and greed of US imperialism. This is what I mean. Okay? Wala silang pakialam sa atin dahil ang priority nila ay sila. Our friendship with them is not really a friendship. It is a parasitic relationship that is made worse by the corruption within our own government. Ang mga Pilipino sa Pilipinas ang totoong biktima. We need to truly see this and accept this. I grieve for the lives so unnecessarily lost. I grieve for the families of the victims of this pandemic. I grieve for those who now have to live with long COVID. I grieve for the healthcare workers. All of them, all of these people I've mentioned are suffering from unimaginable trauma stemming from this pandemic. At lahat ng ito, all because the US was waging a kind of secret proxy cyber war against China at the cost of Filipino lives. Collateral lang tayo. Collateral lang ang buhay ng Pilipino. How is this not radicalizing anybody? To finish this off, I'm encouraging you na basahin ang buong article ng Reuters because there's so much more in there than I could cover in this already very long video. Hindi ito first time ng US na gumawa ng secret disinformation campaign or secret cyber war. It is something that they have done several times na, and they are still doing it. I leave you with this quote from the very, very, very last part of the article. Quote, in February, the contractor that worked on the anti-vax campaign called General Dynamics IT won a $493 million contract. U.S. citizens, especially PhilAms, this is your tax money. Listen, its mission to continue providing clandestine influence services for the military. That could be anything. Please read the article. And please engage with this post as much as you can so that we can reach a lot of people. If you don't know where to find the article, just go to my Instagram page. There's a story highlight there. I think I called it US Anti-Vax War or something like that. I'll put the link is already there because I've posted a story or two already about this. So please do that. Thank you. Daghang salamat.